so carrying on reviewing Pale Rider. So talking now about the makeup of the flu virus. So the flu virus is enclosed by a membrane on the tip of which sits the antigen. The antigen are the protein structures on the surface that can bind to receptors on the cell's surface. And this antigen is called hemagglutinin, or simply H for short. And it looks a bit like a lollipop. Its stalk projects down into the membrane while its head is presented to the outside. So the immune system sees the outside, the head, if you think of like a lollipop sticking out. Now, some flu viruses carry two antigens on their surface. The H antigen allows the virus to break into the cell, while the neuraminidase antigen, N, allows it to exit again. Flu is an RNA virus, which means it's single-stranded, and this RNA is packaged into 8 genes. 6 are internal genes. They encode proteins that modulate the virus's ability to replicate. Now, RNA is less stable than DNA, and this means that flu rapidly mutates. For example, the units, or the amino acids, that make up the flu surface proteins are partially replaced each year, altering the shape of the antigen a bit, which is why we need to constantly change the flu virus. This results in the slow accumulation of errors known as genetic drift. Occasionally, however, there is something more momentous, and that's called genetic shift. And this is when two different flu viruses meet in a single host, swap genes, and create a completely new, novel virus. For example, a virus with a novel HN combination. This is known colloquially as viral sex, and this can result in a pandemic. If two parent viruses come from two different hosts, for example a human and a bird, this may result in an antigen that is novel to humans being introduced into an otherwise human-adapted virus. And this then creates a completely new H in an influenza A virus. By the way, influenza A is the only flu virus capable of causing pandemics. Eventually, an equilibrium is restored. The virus then circulates in a benign form until another novel virus emerges. But an old H can cause a new pandemic if it emerges in a population that has become naive again, for example, in a generation that has never been exposed. For example, the H3C of 1968 also caused the flu of the 1890s. Sorry, ignore that. Yeah, H3, not H3C. I don't know why I said H3C. The H3, which was the 1968 pandemic, also caused the flu of the 1890s, and the H1 Spanish flu also re-emerged to cause swine flu in 2009. Obviously, the virus came in a different form, but its parent virus was the same one that caused the 1918 pandemic, which is why the 1918 pandemic has been called the mother of all pandemics. By the way, as long as the flu pandemic is related to the 1918 pandemic, it's expected that it won't be that severe. The threat comes when we get a completely novel